Welcome to the Mailman Podcast. Today's episode is entitled Shut Up and Let Me Love You. Let's get into it.
Okay, what's up? Shut up. 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 Okay.
Hey, welcome to the Mailman Podcast. This is Sean Saunders, the host and creator. I want to go ahead and get into this topic because this is a topic of discussion. A little frustrated. Just did the entire video and I repeated myself a few times, so I had to delete the video. Now I'm doing it over again. So I'm here, sitting here on a late night, having to go through this. But man, we want to get to the shut up and let me love you. That is the title and topic of our discussion today. Shut up and let me love you. So what does it mean? Let's just talk about what it means. In order for you to understand what the shut up means, you first have to understand this principle and concept. Before I get into the concept, I want to give you some background. A few years back, I wrote a book entitled To Love Her No More. It's N-O. It should have been K-N-O-W. To love her, you need to know more. And in that book, there's a chapter that's called Shut Up and Let Me Love You. There's a chapter in there said, there's also another chapter in there, When Did Jesus Get Divorced? I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff in there. Actually, an excellent book. And it's the sequel, or it's a book that is directly related to another book that I wrote, which is called The Superhero Lover, and it's explicit behavior in between the sheets. So for those of you who don't know me, I write relational books. I created a character, and the relational aspects of his life are revealed through the books that I write. And that's important for you to understand. So the shut up and let me love you is directly connected to this concept of teach me how to love you, which is specifically related to a woman's perspective. Teach me, reveal to me. There's a question that women ask, a woman asks, especially when it comes to a man confessing. Remember, anytime a man confesses his love towards an objective, the objective is always going to test to see if whether or not the quality of his love actually comes from the original source from where love was created. The objective is always going to test. I don't even think a man, when he says that he loves a woman, understands the extent to which he's willing to love her too. And that's the question that women are asking. When a woman asks, how much do you love me? She's asking, to what extent are you willing to love me to? What depth? To what degree are you willing to go? Or to what degree is your love willing to reach in order to touch the core of my soul? To what degree will your love, or is your love willing to extend itself to ensure that I'm safe, that I'm okay, that my value is always esteemed and it's lifted as a result of being in your presence, or as a result of surrendering myself over to you as a man that I presume to be worthy enough to bear up under the weight of my submission. So to what extent are you willing to love me too? And then the second question is, at what point when I change will your love no longer be willing to love me anymore? Or at what extent when I change, or at what point when I change will you no longer be willing to love me anymore? Those are the two questions. So women are always looking for that security. Now, let me explain love so that it's clear. I want to explain this in a way. So we all know that, the woman was created for the man. Men were not created for women. You can take that however you want, but that doesn't diminish the value of the woman. Your value has to be esteemed, because without you, if you were created for me, that means I was in need of whatever it is you can provide. in order for me to accomplish whatever task I was created to accomplish in the earth. I'm gonna say that again. If you are created for me, that means I'm in need of whatever services and or energy that you provide in order for me to fulfill whatever designated responsibility I was given here in the earth. That's important for us to know. We need each other. There's no men and women need each other. There's no relational dynamic that even exists in today's world, whether it be same sex, whether it be opposite. There's no dynamic where you won't ever see the need for the man and the woman. In same-sex relationships, somebody is going to be the dominant, somebody's going to be the masculine, somebody's going to be the feminine. The roles are still prevalent and they're still evident no matter the dynamic of the relationship. I just want to clarify that. So the need for the man wanting the woman and needing the woman is the same as the need for the man wanting and needing the man. Correction. The need for the woman needing and wanting the man is what I meant to say. That dynamic does not change. So those things come into place and they play an extremely important role when it comes to the original intent and idea of what love is supposed to be. Love is natural. Let me say that. Love has to be natural. I think the problem today with the world is we've tried to force something that's supposed to flow through us naturally. I have a book tour coming up. It's called Love Redefined. And there are 3 culminating perspectives that we need to understand or that need to come into agreement in order for the authenticity of love's expression to be revealed in the world that we live in. The original intent of love's expression, in order for it to be expressed authentically, the way that it was intended to be. Okay, so the first is God. God is love. So the perspective of God is so important. The next perspective is the man, and the last perspective is the woman. You can inverse those however you choose to, but you need all of those perspectives to come into agreement and then for them to be in alignment in order for a true expression of love's person to be revealed in the earth. Love is a person. There's no other way to say that. Love is the person of God we're all looking for. It's the perfection of God's person. The perfection of God's person that God decided to hide and intended for us to rediscover and or find through the imperfection of humanity's failures. Ooh, that was good. The perfection of God's person that God hid within the fragile walls of the imperfected or imperfect person that God desires for us to love. So we're looking for God. The only way we can find God, however, because he decided to hide himself. Unfortunately, or fortunately, he decided to hide himself within the imperfection of the person that we love, or the person that we're seeking to love, or the person that we're the objective of our affection. And that's the wonderful thing about love, because what it reveals is the depth, the extents, or the extended depths to which love is willing to reach in order to grab, hold. Love is deep. Love is not enough by itself. Of course, you need the knowledge of understanding how to love somebody, and then you need the wisdom necessary in order for you to love that person the way that God intended for them to be loved. So we put all those things in place, and this is where I'm going. I want you to understand that shut up and let me love you, and I hope that I haven't already said this, but I'm going to say it again. Starts with the teach me how to love you. A woman has to understand that she's a teacher. See, the command was given to man to love his wife. His husbands, it says, husbands, love your wives. Well, the command is a clear indication that a man doesn't have a natural inclination to do what it is he had to be commanded to do. But a woman does have a natural inclination to do what it is. That's why he never gave the command to a woman. He only gave it to the man. In other words, I need for you to do what is unnatural for you. but it's natural for her. See, that's so men have to be taught. I always say we have IEPs. When it comes to love, we have dyslexia, we have ADHD. We got all kind of disorders where we need help and we need support. So it is the responsibility of a woman to teach us how to love them, or how to love you the way that you need to be loved. Now, you have to make sure the way that you need to be loved is in agreement and alignment with the way God created you to be loved. Some women want to be loved in a way where it's not necessarily in agreement with the way that they need to be loved. Now watch this. It's important. You can't teach a man how to master a skill that you have not learned how to master yourself. In other words, you can't place a demand and or an expectation upon a man to love somebody that you don't know how to love yourself. So if you don't love you, how can you place a demand on me to love somebody that you don't know how to love, or know how to love? So you have to learn how to love you first. You have to learn how to appreciate and esteem the value of who it is you've been created to be. How do you do that? Well, the first thing you have to do is, that's why I say God is the most important, because you have to go to God, watch this, and learn how to love yourself the way God loves you. Remember, God will always outlove you when it comes to loving you, because he is love. He is the originator of love. Because he's what it is you're looking for. And he's what it is you're searching for through the imperfection of me, and or whatever man it is you're dealing with. So you got to learn how to reconnect. And yeah, I am very tired, man. I'm tired, but I'm gonna get through this. I'm gonna make sure that we get it right. So that's the key. Learning how to love yourself the way that you're supposed to be loved. Self-exploration leads to rediscovery, not discovery, rediscovery. To discover something means to find it for the first time. You're not looking to find yourself for the first time. You're not looking to acquaint yourself with something that you've never been and or experienced with regard to yourself before. Rediscovery is reacquainting yourself with a person that you were previously acquainted with. So the goal is, in life, self-exploration, careful exploration, self-exploration. You don't want to explore everything. Careful self-exploration leads to rediscovery, and it allows you to become reacquainted with a person that you were previously acquainted with once before you came here to live in this realm of earth. So you have to learn how to love yourself through self-exploration. You have to learn how to rediscover the individual that you are. The life that you're intended to carry out, or you're intending to carry out, has already been fulfilled. It's your responsibility to align yourself with a story that God has already scripted, and a role that he has put in place for you to play, and a story that he wrote. So in relationships, there are designated roles of responsibility. Like I said, in order for us to understand the authenticity of love, there has to be a collaboration. All these different entities have to come together, personalities have to come together, and have to fulfill whatever the role of responsibility is they've been designated to fulfill within the framework of what love is. It's like an ingredient. You have to put everything in. If you're baking a cake, you got to put, all the right things in the cake in order for it to come out the way that it was supposed to, in order for it to be, in order for it to taste, in order for it to have the quality. It needs all the right ingredients and the different elements that you bring together. Well, the same way happens. So in the shut up, it's be quiet. No, it's not be quiet. It's listen. Listen and observe. Listen and observe. First, listen and observe you. Know yourself. Know who it is you are. Know what it is you need. We live in a world today where people don't know what they need, and they place demands on women, place demands on men to do things for them. Well, watch this. Things for them that are never going to satisfy them. buy me this, get me this. A man is supposed to do this. A man is supposed to do that. And unfortunately, that has happened because of us. You know, one of the things that I always tell women is, first of all, you're not going to listen to a man extend to you the idea of the shut up if he's not worthy enough for you to surrender yourself over to. That's where submission comes in. Your posturing position of power. I said this in the last video, and I want you to understand. An enemy doesn't want you to believe in your posturing position of power. So what they try to do is convince you that your posturing position of power is a sign of weakness. I'm sorry. So it's important. I know my video just cut off. I had to come back on. Your posturing position of power, for you to understand that a lot of times, or, you know, we've been told, and that's what enemies do. Any enemy that's trying to thwart you from, or trying to take you off course so that you don't come to fulfill your role. You know, people place a demand on you. People are placing a demand on you to be the person you're supposed to be so that they can become the person they're supposed to be. And that's what happens anytime you believe, like, submission is a posturing role of power. It's the most powerful position that a woman can have in the earth. You know, submission is relinquishing your right to care for yourself over to the responsibility of a man that God has deemed worthy enough to bear up under the weight of your submission. The key word is God has deemed him worthy enough to bear up under the weight of your submission. He's worthy enough to bear up under the weight of your surrender. Not because you can't take care of yourself. No, but it makes it easier for you because he esteems the value of what it is you bring to his life. That's what submission is. Submission is harder on a man than it is on a woman. It's harder because now a man becomes responsible for taking care of the woman, not only mentally, emotionally, materially, but spiritually, psychologically, from the point at which our father left off. And he should be able to do better than what it is our father did. That's what submission is. So in that posture, if men are taking their role and being who they're supposed to be, the shut up itself, matter of fact, the man doesn't ever have to say the word shut up because his actions will cause for her to be quiet, because she won't have to say anything. You know, one of the things I always say, you know, the challenges of relationships is the observation, to be able to observe a person's posture and to be able to understand without them having to tell you what it is to do. You know, and a lot of times in relationships, we don't listen because we're so quick to speak. I had a conversation today, and the conversation was there, and somebody said to you, you know, shut up. Of course, you know, shut up and let me love you. How would you take that? And the first thing, you know, that person said is, I would ask the question, why? Which is good. But if I'm telling you to let me love you, allow me the opportunity and the space to love you, to show you that I've mastered the skill that you've taught me. And as teachers don't ever talk when students are taking a test. No, we have to shut up. And the student we have to allow the student the opportunity. Now, what does it do? It shows us that we're good at our job. We're good at what it is we do. It shows the value that we bring not only to ourselves, but also that we bring to the individual that we're in the relationship with. And it's the same way, you know, ladies, you have to be quiet long enough to show us that we heard, to allow us the space to show you that we heard. And also to reveal to you whether or not we're possessed with what it is you need to love you the way that you need to be loved. I know that that's a lot, but that's a lot. It's a lot, you know, an authentic expression of whether or not a man, you know, for so long, unfortunately, we as men have not done that. We have not been the defender. And as a result of not being able to defend the defenseless, which would be the women that God created us to defend because of the value that it is they bring to our life. Now, because they lost confidence in a defender's defense, now they decided to defend themselves. And now they won't be quiet because we haven't spoken or said anything. I always, look back and, Adam's silence was more of an echoing sound. A man's silence is more of an echoing sound than anything. But when a man of authority speaks, his voice is heard. And sometimes we have to understand that the loudest word we can say is not with our mouth, it's with our actions. If we want the women that we love to hear our voice, we have to speak more with the actions. We have to have corresponding actions that agree with the words that we say. And we have to show them that we're in compliance with what it is God created, that we're possessed with the power and ability to love you the way that you need to be loved. I'm speaking to you, ladies. And that's important. And that's where the shut up comes in. It's not for you to be quiet and not say anything. And it's, some women like it. You would tell a woman to shut up, man, that turns her on. Shut your ass. Let me stop. I ain't gonna say that. Shut your ass up. Oof. That turn them on. You have other women who take offense to it. I guess it just depends on what kind of woman you are. There's some women they like freaky stuff, and that's fine, and it turns them on. But you have to make sure. And I'm not just talking about in that aspect. I'm talking about you understanding and them understanding that you have the authority to speak that, because every man does not have the authority to speak to a woman in that way, because every man is not capable of loving you the way that you need to be loved. Every man does not have what it takes. Like I said, we got IEPs, individual evaluation plans for males and for men. Women, you need to make sure that you document his IEP to see whether or not he's capable of, sometimes you need to modify your lessons when it comes to loving you the way that you need to be loved, because every man's not capable of doing that. Some people, they just can't do it. And then what you need to do is like what we do with students. We do the best that we can. We have you for a certain period of time, but then you got to move them on to the next one. Hey, maybe they can help you. And I've learned that in life. You're not fit for everything and everybody. As a teacher, I'm not going to be able to help everybody. I do the best that I can. Some get it, some don't. And you have to be able to live with that and do the best that you can to help people where they are. So there's no one size fits all. It doesn't work for everybody. And every man is not going to have the authority or be possessed with the authority and or power to be able to tell you to shut up and let me love you. Some men are not even going to be willing to go that far. So it's up to you to be able to esteem your worth and your value so that you understand who you are and you live in that and you place that demand on them to respect that about you. Women, you are powerful. You are amazing. You're awesome. You know, breathtaking. Yeah, you have an admirable excellence that other women and people admire when they look at you. Sexy, elegant, tasteful, delightsome. I'm just making up words as we go. But, for us to say and suggest that to you means absolutely nothing if you don't see the value within yourself. And the thing about it is, you don't need to hear it. You need to be shown. And sometimes you're so busy talking and you're so busy, we live in a different world, and we have to take away the opportunities for you to talk to us as men in a way and be right about what it is you're saying. Because for so long we haven't created the space for us to be able to say to you, shut up and allow me to love you. Just be quiet. We haven't said anything. Men, for so long, we haven't said anything that has been meaningful, that has excited, that stimulated. I talked about, the levels of attraction or dimensions of attraction. I've talked about that stuff. There are multiple dimensions of attraction, and everybody can please. Somebody else can bring pleasure, but everybody can't satisfy. Everybody can't stimulate the individual that you're with in multiple dimensions at the same time. You know, can you make them come in all those different, you know, dimensions of reality? You know, can you cause their mind to believe above and beyond where it is they are, to experience life at the highest level? At that, you know, can you do that? So, you know, everybody is not possessed. So it's what it is we say. We have to, men, we have to have something to say in order for them to shut up and listen to what it is that's being said. You have to be worthy enough for her to surrender herself over to whatever it is you're saying, to believe it. So your life has to come in compliance with what it is you speak. And I'm not only talking to women. Like I said, women, don't surrender yourself over to a man that's not worthy of his submission. The question you should be asking about the man you're with is, are you worthy of me? I heard a woman say that to us one time. I said, wow. That is the most powerful thing that I've ever heard. You keep desiring for us to surrender ourselves. Submission has been wrong for years. We think that is you shut up, that you do what I tell you to do. No, submission is harder on a man than it is on a woman. And I say that. It's harder on us. It's harder on us. It is. It is. You know, no matter how you go about it, when I have to become responsible for you, that means in order for me to take responsibility for what it is you are, I have to understand what it is you bring to the table. I have to be able to show an appreciation for the services that you bring that I need. I need in order for me to fulfill my role and responsibility designated for me to carry out in the earth. I have to be able to do that. And if I can't do that, then that's a problem that I have. And I shouldn't try to get you to compromise yourself to become for me something you're not in order for you to support a person that I keep pretending to be. And for a long time, that's what's happened. That's what's happened. Our women have begun to compromise. And that's why it's hard for them to shut up and allow us to love them, because they don't feel loved. And it's our responsibility, men, to take that back, to show them that, look, y'all, we appreciate you. We need you. We love you. We want you. We want you to be around. And we support you. So look, man, I love y'all. I am tired. I'm tired. I done did this video and then had to go take it down. But listen, man, I love you. Look, Love 3 Defined book tour is coming up June 22nd. It's going to be in Douglasville, Georgia. It's going to be at Brighton Academy. That's the school that I teach at. They've allowed me to use the facility. Chef Mo is going to be there. She's going to be doing all the cooking. It's going to be good. She's doing all the cooking for the activity. We're setting up some more dates as well. Listen, booking and all that stuff, man. If you need me, I'm there. Just let me know, man. And go like and share this video, man. Tell somebody else, man. Get on. Get on. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I think I'm going to do a live chat because I want other people to be involved and other people to come in and other people to chat about, hey, what they feel, what they think, you know, to shut up and let me love you. What do you think about that? You know, teach me how to love you. What do you think about that? You know, I think I defined my perspective of love. I hope I did. I think I did. I did. But I think I've talked about love being a person. Love being a person of God. If I haven't, I'm just going to reiterate. And then, you know, the perfection. God's perfect love. God is perfect. And man, we're just looking for the perfection of God's love. Unfortunately, we have to look for the perfection of God's love through the imperfection of humanity's failure. So that's the only way we can find it. And that's hard. So women, you have to navigate through that as well. Teaching a man, teaching is hard. It's not easy. And I'm not telling you it's going to be easy. But I'm telling you, we need it. We need for you to teach us how to love you, but you need to know how to love yourself so that you can shut up and allow us to love you the way that you need to be loved. All right. Love y'all.